Hello jewelry class, this is Miss Gardner, and this is a picture I'm going to show you that's on the back of our wire jewelry rubric, and it's probably about the simplest ring using just a round wire. And here are a couple of rings that I was just kind of simulating the picture I just showed you, where it's really just a piece of wire folded in half. You can see the little fold right here where it's got turned over. Now this is copper wire. I'm using, I believe this is a 16 gauge compared to some of these thinner wires that are like 20 gauge, and it gets a lot, the higher the number, the thinner the wire. And notice that they're different colors. This is natural copper I'll use. I think you can see it easier, but there are all kinds of coatings that you can get, even black coatings and things like that. Sometimes I use aluminum type wire, which is fine also. But I'm going to start with the easiest one, and I'll show you a couple tools as I'm going. You'll notice that your green mat that you took home does have a measuring ruler on the side. So if you're wondering how much wire to get, I wouldn't get any more than a foot, like 12 inches. That's actually a lot. You'll snip off a lot of extra. So you may even want to, cut it down to like 7 or 8 inches, which I think I'll get about an 8 or 9 inch one right here. I'm going to use some flush cutters, I call them, right here. It makes a nice kind of flat cut, but you can use like a regular wire cutter, kind of like nippers, and that's okay too. Okay, and then I'm going to bend this in half, just kind of meet the ends. It's okay if they're a little bit off, because this ring actually is going to have one end longer anyway, so that's okay. So I'm just creating a bend, and I can just use my hands. Now if you have wire that got a little kinked, you can use a rag or a thick glove or something like that. You can actually kind of wrung the wire like this. You have to really squeeze it and kind of pull it, and you can often kind of straighten it up a little bit more. Actually, that didn't help. Maybe I'll do that to the other side too. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it a little bit more with my hands, but I can always just switch over to the tools also. So I'm going to get my round nose pliers. Yeah, they're round all the way around, very handy. And I can get a little bit better of a bend here. I can also kind of tighten it up. Try to make it so you can see. I can squeeze it a little bit. I can even sometimes flatten it a little bit also with my pliers. Now, you'll do a little bit of scarring if you squeeze really hard. Sometimes I even wrap a little tape around the ends of my pliers sometimes, but I'm not going to worry about that today. Okay, I'm going to keep them kind of together like that. Now, the tool I'm going to show you is a version of a mandrel, which really just like a round rod. It has numbers on it for ring sizes. And I know that y'all don't have these at home. A common size for, let's say, a lady's ring would be between 6, 7, 8 or so. And men's typically larger. It doesn't matter though. If you don't have a mandrel, just find like this is just a mixing spoon, as you see. A little bit narrow, but that would be good for a pinky ring. And then I found this mascara just in a drawer that I don't even use. And it makes a great mandrel too. Mandrel is just like a nice kind of hard surface. Don't try wrapping it around your finger. That would kind of hurt, and it just has too much give. So I can kind of grasp my thumb onto this. I have it doubled together, and I'm going to really, press hard. Keep turning it until I come back around. I'm not trying to meet it perfectly. I'm kind of coming to the side, because that's the style of the ring. Okay. And then you can take it off, or you can leave it on the mandrel, whatever you think kind of works for you. So I might just leave it on for now. And I'm going to take my extra wire on the side. I can actually kind of give it a little bit of a curve here. I'm going to make this swirl, design it so the swirl's like right next to it, like it's in front. And at any point you could get your, if you have round nose pliers with you, or needle nose pliers, that would be helpful either way. I know you don't all have the same kind of pliers. Now the tip likes to stay kind of, the tip likes to stay kind of flat. We want it to kind of give it a little curl, so I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to keep it in focus and have enough light. I know that's, sorry about that. It's a little dark here. I'm just bringing it in. You can grasp it in different places to get it to turn the way you want to. And then I'll go ahead and take my second one. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of here. Now, I probably have way too much right here. But be careful about snipping too much off. Oh, and when you do snip, careful, these tips like to really just fly. Okay, watch out for your eyes. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this in some. Oh, also a trick to getting rid of that little flat end. Sometimes people come in and they snip off that end and they have a little bit of a better curve left. Okay, and of course you can work with it a little bit more than that as you go, but basically, there you go, you have a ring. And if you want it, it's adjustable. That's the neat thing. You can actually tighten it around the mandrel or just kind of hand tighten it. And see it now, it doesn't fit this finger anymore. Okay, so you can actually adjust it, which is nice. I can still move it around. If this tip is kind of sticking out, you can always just kind of bend it in a little bit. Just kind of play with it a little. Okay, so there's the first one, like the first version of these. This was with thicker wire. It was a little bit harder to work with. Now this one is a really neat one. I think I bought from a student. I really liked it. So here are a couple versions of it with a little bit different wire. This wire was a little bit thinner perhaps. So I'm going to get another piece of wire. Okay, oh there it is right in front of me. I'll use some more of this natural copper. I might go ahead and get a foot of this since I have more swirling that's going to be going on. Approximately a foot. Oops. And I'm going to get it about halfway. No, you can't really see that. Halfway across the wire. And I'm going to hold it really tight, kind of squeeze it snug against whatever you're using for a mandrel. Now notice I'm trying to line them up as close as I can, like that, next to each other. Try to keep it together and keep it tight. I can bring it around. Let's see, looks like I have 2 wraps right here. I have enough wire. I'm going to bring it around again a little bit. There we go. Have at least 2 wraps around your finger there. Okay, and then with my extra, I can go ahead and start. One's going to be curling that direction, and this one's going to be coming out this way. Okay, just so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And I'll go ahead and take it off. Get my round nose pliers or your needle nose. I'm going to go ahead and start curling it in. I'm going to get in there and snip off that little flat part so I can get a better, tighter curve in there. You'll have to just get the hang of where to grab it to make it curve the way you want. I can always flatten it a little bit like that. I've even seen people curl it like this, grabbing all of it at the same time, just different ways. So just kind of play around with using the tool. And then at any time you can go to the other side and just design it. Just kind of figure out if you want them right across from each other or not. I'm not going to take the time to kind of, you know, snip off the end here. I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off so you can get the idea. Alright, I know that was a real quickie there, but I just wanted you to get the idea of how to design it. Okay, you can always play around with it and refine it better. If you have a real snaggy end, sometimes you can even like get a piece of newspaper. I'm sorry, not newspaper, that wouldn't help you. A little bit of sandpaper. I rarely do, but you know, that is an option if you have a little snaggy end there. You don't want things that are going to like rub your little places that are sharp, they're going to rub on you. You want to definitely get those tucked in or barely filed off. Okay, so there's one. It's very similar to the one I made back there. And then the last one is kind of a rosette. And here's a version. I kind of hammered that one a little bit to spread it out. So I'm going to get another piece. I don't know that a rosette takes that much. I could probably get away with using maybe 8 or 9 inches. We'll see. It's real common to snip off a little extra, you know, if you're not sure how much to get. That's kind of a short piece. I think that one's about 8 inches, okay. And let's see, if I look at the old ring, that's how I figure things out sometimes. This one has 3 wraps, this one has 2, so you can just kind of decide. But basically, you're just going to, again, wrap, keep it nice and tight. We'll see if I can get another one around. I might not be able to get a oops, not a third one. We'll go for 2 then. Alright, and then to make the rosette, keep it nice and tight. You're going to have, you can use your fingers or you can kind of just use some needle nose pliers, but give it a little bit of a 90-degree bend, like that. Bring this one up so that it's kind of right at the same point, wanting to kind of bend in the same spot. And you can give that one a little bit of a 90-degree going the other direction. In other words, kind of like you just twisted it, except I helped it out a little bit. And pretty much, they're going to kind of chase each other. In other words, this one goes that direction, this one's kind of running from it. And you can go loose, you can go tight, you can decide how much space is in between them. But this is called kind of like chasing, kind of going all the way around. You can fill it in or space it out if you like to see through it. And of course you can use your pliers as much as you want to. When you get towards the end, you are going to want to tuck the end of your rosette tips underneath itself. You just want to make sure it's not going to snag anything. So I'm tucking it underneath the rosette. Okay. Now I could pretty that up a little bit, but basically, got it. Let's see which finger it happens to fit. Now this one's not adjustable. That's the only thing. It fits out in perfect. Not an adjustable type ring. So you just have to kind of figure out what size you. And it just takes a little practice to kind of feel it out. Okay, and we'll stop right there. And next time I'll have a different style.